back and forth, kind of going in favor of RNG a little bit until LNG took away game one. And right off the bat, we've got pretty much similar picks going in on the side of RNG, at least to the extent that we have Crying on the Syndra, we have Gala on the Varus. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have the Renekton Instalock practically followed by the Ziggs. To be expected, the Trundle and Ziggs combination could also be a jungle Trundle, but chances are we are probably going to see a Lee Sin here if it's left up, as LNG opting to ban out the Rel as they did in game 1. Meanwhile, on the side of RNG, responding, targeting out Tarzan, looking to take away that Renekton Nidalee combo, which is of course admittably fearsome, and LNG just banning away Ming's Rakan from last game. There's still the Leona, there is still the Nautilus available. However, LNG, let's see what they opt to for their mid and their jungle. Lee Sin is still up and available, and against two not very mobile AD carries, Lee Sin might just be the pick as to be expected. Meanwhile, on the side of RNG, it looks like we're going to be seeing Xiaohu on that Viego yet again. And for Ming, we're going to see a Set instead of the Nautilus, instead of the Leona. Set is chosen instead, ability to peel and jump in, I suppose, as the Jax is locked in. Ale whipping it out in game 5 versus the Camille of Bin versus Bin's Camille when they went up against Suning, and it looks like this is a mid lane Renekton. A lot of melee champions coming out on the side of LNG. Looking at the comps face to face, we have Wei, who's going to have control of the early game. We got a range advantage in Crying's favor, so mid priority is probably going to be towards the side of RNG. We have what could be a kill lane down in the bot side with Gala and Ming. However, against the Trundle support that Iwandi is so handily on, really the Trundle and Ziggs lane is pretty much been super solid throughout the majority of the time that it has been here. It's kind of hard to dive against the minefield, against the pillar that comes out. And in the top side, where's the more volatile matchup, we have of course the Viego, another team fighting champion on the side of RNG's top laner. Meanwhile, Ale does have that split push potential, because alas, eventually he will be able to outduel the Viego. Though Viego has the advantage in harassing him in lane. Of course, Viego, one of the longest auto attack range melee auto attack champions in the game, so the range of his melee auto attacks is sometimes questionable, especially when you have the marker of the Blade of the Ruined King onto you. So LNG opting for a little bit more of aggressive top side, meanwhile RNG pretty much responding. Both bot laners are kind of poke as looks like we're going to see a little fight as Iwandi now is about to walk straight into two members. Gala taking a bouncing bomb to the face as the first instance of damage goes in favor of LNG down in this bottom lane. And LNG is this time not going to be able to see Wei starting out on his blue buff. Let's see if they try and make another attempt for the entirety of... Wait, was that last game? I don't even remember. There's so many games have gone by. My apologies. I'm not going to refer to that anymore. Looks like it's just going to be a simple full clear. Both junglers are going to be finishing off towards the bottom side. And in spite of the fact that that RNG did ban away the Nidalee pick from Tarzan, Lee Sin is not too shabby of a pick as well. The lockdown, of course, from the W of the Renekton means that Lee Sin can come in, hit an almost assured Sonic Wave, and maybe if he even gets an insect off at level 6, throwing the Lysindra into the Renekton, that is almost a confirmed kill. Meanwhile, on the bot side, already a bit of damage going down as Ming ignites up Iwandi. Iwandi still has flash, still has exhaust, even has the Guardian Shield, and will just waltz away, pretty much limp away at this point, I suppose. And generally, when you see these set supports in the bot side, you tend to see them want to bust their flash in the early game, try and get a summoner spell advantage in their favor, and you can even call the jungler over. So far, already causing pressure onto the opponent's opposing support without actually having to blow his summoner spell. Did use Ignite. Interestingly enough, Gala opting to go for the teleport, so we have actually 6 teleports in this game. Meanwhile, with bot priority, it looks like RNG's jungler and support are going to link up and try and find Tarzan, but Tarzan, having completed the entirety of his jungle, will be completely safe. Know that there could be potentially people coming for him, and with priority across the bottom 2 lanes, looks like Wei will be able to pressure Tarzan but not steal anything away, which allows Tarzan, of course, as a result of just farming in a set path. He is slightly ahead now, but Icon in the mid lane is so chunked out, might be in trouble as Wei is rounding the corner. There's still the Ruthless Predator, still the Slice and Dice, there's still the Cull the Meat coming in as Icon running in towards Crying, who is a bit low on mana. In comes Tarzan with the Safeguard, and Crying might have to flash away from this Sonic Wave, not trying to sidestep it. Tarzan is just walking up to him, and now Teleport is coming down. That is Xiaohu, but Ale is making his way here as Crying flashes as well. Ming and Gala come up, but now they're pincered between 4 members as Crying goes down immediately. Icon taken so very low. Gala is exhausted up as the bouncing bombs come across Ming and Gala. In comes the resets from Xiaohu, who has the Renekton now, has the Ruthless Predator available. Ming still has flash available. Not sure what timing is for the Facebreaker. In comes the Slice, but no dice reset. Meanwhile, Ale is come flash in 2-man stun as Gala is taken out by a Sonic Wave. Ale taking the last hit as Xiaohu is in the front line trying to finish out Ale. He gets another reset of Teleport is coming in. This is going to be the Icon, but the Counter Strike is available. Icon's going to get stunned off. Flash is forced from Wei, and already at level 4 we have 2 kills going either way for either team, and as soon as we see who manages to pick up those kills, we will be able to determine who really started out with an advantage, as both the mid laners ended up going down. Wave is pushing heavily in favor of Crying, however, and I mean, as a result, Wave is pushing in favor of Icon, which means that Crying will be able to soak up the entirety of the wave, but that also means Tarzan will be able to pick up this top Scuttle Crab without fear or contestation. In fact, it looks like he has double Scuttle Wei at this point in time, and in the later on, especially at the 2 to 3 item point, Lee Sin is very much capable of outdueling the Xin Zhao, although Xin Zhao does act as a much more consistent frontliner with his Crescent Sweep ultimate invulnerability at range. And now as we look at how the kills have been distributed, it is 2 kills up towards the top side for RNG. Meanwhile, only 1 kill has been equalized by Ale, and Tarzan did pick up the other kill. So really, it's both teams have the kills on the members you want them to be on. Tarzan, of course, the main playmaker for LNG, especially in this early game. He is not on that. Xin Zhao has been taken away from him, robbed by Wei, who honestly, Tarzan on Xin Zhao pulls off more insects than some Lee Sins I've seen, as a little bit of a battle comes on between the 2 top laners. Ale trying to get some consistent damage onto Xiaohu, who just is sustaining so much with the Blade of the Ruin King. Wei is making his way up, but he will be spotted out by that lane ward by the looks of it. Interesting ward placement, but it will probably pay benefits, as Wei actually not going to step in fact stepping into the tri-bush as Ale leap strikes out. Meanwhile, Tarzan is in the area as well. No teleports are available for either mid laners, but Light does have teleport. Not that I expect him to use it, considering he's got a huge bot wave that is being pushed into him. Meanwhile, Xiaohu just continuously trading aggressively onto Ale. The CS discrepancy between the two is pretty insignificant. Ale jumps in with the counter strike, forcing a flash out from Xiaohu, but Wei has entered now, looking to try and jump onto Ale, but Tarzan running enough interference so his top laner can scurry away, and under the tower he's going to be able to absorb this wave. A 0 for 0 coming out in the top and jungle duo battles. But of course, if we look at the CS, I think Ale is not too significantly behind. In fact, if you look at the gold, he's only about 150 gold behind. Meanwhile, Tarzan significantly ahead of his counterpart, actually about 700 gold ahead of Wei, as in comes Ming with the Facebreaker. Iwandi tanking up all the damage as in comes the Knuckle, but Iwandi again is just going to walk out of it. This time, didn't even need to... I mean, he didn't even have Flash to use, but he didn't even need to, as Crying now is being pincered. Tarzan does not have his ultimate available, as the Scatter Weak does not push off. So in comes the Safeguard into a Blast Plant right into Icon's hands, and Tarzan is taken so incredibly low, but Ale jumping in over the wall, trying to get the counter strike off, and Wei doesn't manage to take a last hit onto Tarzan. A beautiful number of moves coming in here. Tarzan timing the blue buff, expecting the gift, and Icon actually managing to pincer Crying in a very unfortunate position. And in spite of not having the Dragon's Rage, Tarzan with the awareness to just use the Blast Plant instead to accomplish the same role. Wei is not looking particularly good in the camera. You see his hand to his face palming a little bit hard. It is now 7 minutes and 40 seconds into the game, which means Rift Terror will be spawning. Tarzan is probably going to want to get a recall off before that happens. And look at this beautiful play. That's practically an insect there, as all he didn't do, I mean, he just, instead of pressing R, he just popped the Blast Plant. And like we previously alluded to, it's just kick him towards the Renekton, and the Ruthless Predator comes in. There's really nothing the Syndra can do. It's just a shame that Wei was not able to get that final auto, maybe an auto and a half, which would have changed the outcome of that. And really looking at the gold up in topside, in spite of being 1 kill down, the CS discrepancy, actually, no, he's not even 1 kill down, sorry. And as a result of getting that 1 kill, Ale has picked himself up 300 gold over his counterpart, as Xiaohu now cannot step up, doesn't know where Tarzan is, will not risk trying to walk up so far into his lane, but he will start up Rift Herald, as it looks like top lane RNG will be able to pick that up. Meanwhile, Tarzan just trading it for the dragon down towards bot side. Speaking of which, in bot lane, it looks like Light is not faring as well as Gala against this slightly more aggressive duo, as Ming does have the unsealed spellbook, even now has teleport, and so 4 members of RNG do have teleport as a summoner spell. However, Ming is the only one with it available. That being said, every single member of RNG pretty much has the same timing when it comes to their teleport, while LNG's is not so in sync. Icon is going to be quite significantly far behind, while Xiaohu now can't even step up to the wave because Ale is in full control, does have the sustain from the Vamp Scepter. Meanwhile, Tarzan just giving off the blue buff. Wise call, just going to get Light back into the game. And really, the range poke from either team is pretty much equally strong. I'd say that RNG definitely do not scale as hard as LNG. In fact, if we look at their team compositions, it's a bit of a mix because Gala RNG has poke from Gala, has good pick from Crying and Gala, and of course they've got good dive potential with Xiaohu, Wei, and Ming. Meanwhile, on the side of LNG, a bit more about that soon as Wei is walking up now. No teleport is available for anybody except for Light, but Xiaohu is already taking a losing fight as the ultimate is propped. In comes the Heartbreaker, but it is not enough to chunk out Ale, and he just dives. Xiaohu as Ming now stepping up, does have the ultimate available, but in comes Tarzan looking to make another insect, looking to live in the nightmares of Crying, looking to take away the wolves, in fact he might be just chilling and waiting for a way to step back into his jungle. Iwandi has rotated his way up here as well, and as you can see, Light is playing incredibly safe down towards the bottom side because they are not quite sure where every member of RNG is, but now Icon needs to be careful. Ming does have flash available, he flashes right in on top of Icon, in comes the showstopper and brings him down to earth on top of a cannon minion, on top of several balls of Crying, and Ming deciding to bring RNG a little bit further back into the game. Dragon is spawning in 3 minutes time. In fact, Rift Herald is still available. At least RNG were able to deny it from the Ziggs from Light. But really, scaling wise, I think LNG do have a slight bit of advantage. The only problem is that LNG only have one yet again, as so happens in so many of these LPL games. Only form of quote-unquote consistent engage is that Lee Sin, is Tarzan, and I'm not saying he's not capable, I'm just saying there's a lot of pressure to put onto your own players. Meanwhile, RNG do have, of course, the Chains of Corruption, the Scatter, the Weak, as well as the Showstopper or a Flash Facebreakers. He's going to be able to knock Wei into Tarzan. Wei is playing actually so aggressive despite not having mid priority. In fact, not having as many members of his team here. Iwandi, very nice pillar to separate him and Wei. In comes the Facebreaker, bringing Iwandi back. Icon is just distracting him in the top side. Meanwhile, Xiaohu taking so much damage from a very short trade coming out of Ale. Ale has completed his Blade of the Ruin King and he's using it to smack its original owner, truth be told. Meanwhile, Tarzan is making his way up towards the top side, even using his safeguard, trying to close as much distance as possible, trying to pressure out Xiaohu, trying to take away yet another win condition. Meanwhile, RNG are playing aggressively towards this bot side, but again, it's so hard to dive with the amount of zone control that they have amongst the two champions. But RNG is going to be able to zone the bot lane of LNG and is going to be able to pick themselves up some plaything. But meanwhile, on the opposite side, Tarzan is pillaging Wei's jungle. Ale is just clubbing Xiaohu's top lane to death, but it looks like first tower is going to go in favor of LRNG. I'm sorry, it's just too like the way. Oh, okay, in the mid lane, interesting. Xiaohu able to just realizing that his lane is kind of lost right now. He just needs to go and impact the map and has managed to pick himself a kill. So nice rotation coming out. Icon just chain CC'd by the Spectral Maul and Scatter the Weak, I expect. Didn't even get time to use Dominus available. Didn't manage to flash, but he does have teleport. Meanwhile, on top side, Ale is just still hammering away at the tower as the gold lead between the two top laners continues to balloon. 6,000 gold to 4,003, a 1,700 gold lead as teleport down mid lane. Crying is here, is a little bit low on mana. Another teleport is coming out. That is Icon. This time, this looks like a nice Scattered Weak coming out, stunning him as in comes the Showstopper as well. Icon's just being battered around and absolutely incinerated. That teleport was a little bit too deep for this Crocodile, not at all tanky enough to withstand 4 members of RNG wailing onto him, and LNG just couldn't close the distance fast enough. Meanwhile, Ale is still just picking himself up as many resources as he can, and as soon as Xiaohu arrives in lane, he's just gonna try and dive him. Now Wei is behind him, but Ale is not foolish enough to just stay around, or maybe he is. He's trying to draw pressure away from Dragon, I suppose, but it's a bit early. It's only spawning in 40 seconds now, as Tarzan is just starting up his red buff. A bunch of missing pings go down, some synchronized recalls along the way from RNG, and it is almost critical here for LNG to be the first ones to initiate. Oh, nice stun coming out here, and didn't pop the, actually still not popping the Dominus. In comes the Scatter the Weak, flashes away from the Unleashed Power. Unfortunate turn of events. Now, it is absolutely vital for LNG to be in position first for that Dragon, because they have the ability to hold these choke points with the grenade, with the minefield, as well as the pillar. And not to mention, their lack of engage means they really don't want to be the ones face checking in. They don't really have a tank at this point just yet. Then again, neither do RNG, although Wei's Crescent Swipe can kind of count as something. Now it's like Tarzan and Ale are on the flanks. RNG are not in position at all. Gala is 100% dead here, as Ming, there's really nothing he can do. In comes the Sonic Wave, in comes the Safeguard, in comes the Dragon's Rage into the Mega Inferno Bomb, and really not anyone else was necessary. Wei is in the middle of 5 members. In comes Unleashed Power, but Ale taking negative damage with his ultimate resistances. Iwandi forced out a flash as Wei jumps in with the Audacious Charge, and it looks like Iwandi will die here to a poke from RNG's top laner, but Icon popping the Dominus, slicing and dicing in, ready to use Unleashed Predator, ready to use the Ruthless Predator, unable to stun anyone but Xiaohu. Meanwhile, Ale is being zoned out into his top side. Ming needs to retreat from this fight, does have his passive resistance to try and make it back into it, but it looks like the two teams are going to trade objectives yet again. It is going to be Rift Herald for Ocean Dragon, but Icon, is he too far up? He does not have Dominus available. In comes the Seattle, in comes the Spectrum Mall, and again picked up. I'm pretty sure they only got 176 gold from him because he is 0 and 5. Icon absolutely griefing, is more than half of the kills on the side of RNG, which I suppose is good because it means he's not really giving away as much gold as if one of his allies was giving away the kills. But still, Icon is absolutely running it this game, and RNG not really even... I like the rotations coming in from Xiaohu. He realizes that Ale is getting a lot of help up top side, and he can just sit there and mope, or he can make a play, and he does indeed towards bot side. Meanwhile, speaking of which, Ale is soon to be ganked by the entirety of RNG. In fact, every member of the team is coming down towards his bot side in hopes of contesting this Dragon, but Iwandi and Tarzan are already working on it. Icon is moving now towards the top side. He does not have teleport available, as he is now beginning to rotate, but the rest of RNG are now in position. Ming is tanking up, continuing the aggro as Iwandi steps in as well. Ale is in position to land a massive counter strike. He does have the blast plant to proc. In fact, the members of RNG see him on that control ward, and it looks like RNG are going to be able to take this away, as although Icon has made his way in, it looks like LNG are more interested in sieging down the tower. They do have the Ziggs with the Satchel Charge, and RNG without priority are not going to be able to defend their tower, and up goes LNG towards the top side. So RNG, all things considered, not so bad. They did manage to pick themselves up both the neutral objectives that were on the map. If we look at the gold, things are pretty much dead even, with just a slight bit of advantage over towards LNG. 2 kills worth of gold, as the towers are also slightly in favor of LNG. But at this point in the game, everything is pretty much up in the air. RNG do have the capabilities to win. They need the poke coming out. They need Crying to survive. They need Gala to land some nice poke. Meanwhile, LNG, like I said, man, Lee Sin is indeed reliable engage when you're in the LPL. And look at that, this literal definition of an alley-oop. I don't even watch basketball, and I can tell you that. Wait, very nice Crescent Strike coming out, and the after effects allowed him to tank up the tower. As in the top side, it looks like again Icon absolutely being picked on by the members of RNG. They have definitely identified a weakness, and the rest of LNG, to be fair, Icon is doing his job. He's giving away gold, no doubt, but he is opening up a lot of space for his allies, especially Ale in this bot side, who can take a 1v1 against pretty much anybody, and in the right circumstances, especially once he hits 3 items, is going to be able to take a 2v1, chances are, especially against Xiaohu, who is now looking to be dived, as the rest of LNG, the remaining members, now wrap their ways around the bot side. Gala will not be able to rotate to help him, but Ming is sprinting down towards the bot side. Meanwhile, up in this on the screen, Crying and Wei getting some damage onto his top side will trade 2 towers down, but it looks like bot tower will also fall in favor of Ale, while with the assistance of Tarzan, Xiaohu can do nothing but stand and watch, because he can't even step up. Ale will absolutely mince him up. And right now, LNG and RNG are trading back and forth very beautifully. But I believe in the overall sense, LNG are definitely, as the gold lead reflects, are definitely ahead of this, because they're getting their gold onto one of their late game carries. In fact, 2 of them, because Light is just free farming up in this mid lane. Meanwhile, RNG are splitting gold in the top side, splitting gold between Wei and Crying. And though Crying is your late game carry, Wei isn't really. And meanwhile, Xiaohu, their team fight resetter, is just being zoned by Ale down to his bot side. Look at the CS discrepancy between the 2 players. It is now 47 CS lead in favor of the Jax, in favor of the Grandmaster, the absolute dueling danger on the side of LNG. So again, although things are looking relatively even, the gold lead definitely shows you. Actually, the gold lead doesn't really show you. The LNG are definitely getting the winning trade out of this because RNG winning through one lane, meanwhile LNG picking up nice forms of CS across two lanes and just crashing waves, playing very aggressively. Although vision right now, in RNG's defensive vision is absolutely phenomenal. There's a few wards here and there which can be used for teleports, by the way, which are all up and available. So really this next fight could be exceptionally explosive, as in fact almost every member of either team, with the exception of both supports, have their summoner spells available. Teleport is being used down the mid lane. Dragon's only spawning in 2 minutes time, so that's just to pick up waves. As Light knows, he just needs to, keep on scaling, get to a better point. Looks like he's working now towards his... Oh, Gala actually being flashed onto by Ale's flash comes out. Nice little showstopper comes in as the alley-oop comes in as well. Ale is winning a 1v3 situation as the Unleashed power does finish him off. Meanwhile, Wei trying to flash away. Tarzan nearly falling, flashes in with the Sonic Wave, tagging out onto the walls instead of Wei. And we're already at that point where the Tarzan's Lee Sin is just able to absolutely abuse Wei's Xin Zhao. And there's really no contest, Gore Drinker to Gore Drinker. Xin Zhao now is starting to fall off in the 1v1 context, but he's able to keep up in terms of levels. To his credit, Wei, in spite of being down in kills, down in overall CS, is still keeping up in levels, even though, the gold lead is pretty massive, but still we gotta give him credit where credit is due. So meanwhile, Ziggs Light is still building towards what looks to be, what I predict to be, a Horizon focus. Meanwhile, Ale was taken down in the ultimate part of that fight, but Gala really just not having the time of his life. And it's a real shame that this has happened to him because, what can he do? He's on a mobile AD carry. The second you are stepped a little bit far out of line, not quite sure why he was trying to contest this. Maybe he thought that Ming was going to be closer by. Maybe he thought that Ale was not going to jump in so aggressively or deal so much damage to him, as look, the counter-strike comes in and really it is just off of the flash efforts of Ming to come in and save his AD carry. In fact, he might even have been successful had the Mega Inferno Bomb not come in and absolutely nuked him off the face of the earth. So the Ziggs pick is pretty devastating here, which is kind of funny because the Ziggs pick did come in before the Varus pick. Now Dragon is spawning in 15 seconds time. Ale continuing his pressure up towards the top side is one level up on Xiaohu. In fact, I'm pretty sure Xiaohu might be in danger of getting Doven. Does have the Spectral Ball available, so he can try and use it to maybe counterplay, make some form of a counterplay. But right now, Ale is actually so far ahead, has 2 items completed, as Xiaohu is still trying desperately to finish his Blade of the Ruin King. I want to stand up by the Scattered Wheat, is tagged up by the Wind Becoming Lightning. Exhaust coming down. I want to take a solo as the Haymaker comes in from Ming, finishing off the kill. But in comes the Bouncing Bombs. Icon is still pushing towards bot side, and as little gold as he is worth, he's still able to exert a lot of pressure onto the map. In fact, even keeping up in CS with his counterpart in Crying. And RNG are probably going to need to start this up as soon as possible and rush it. Ale is making his way up from top side. Icon making his way up from the bot side. The members of RNG are quite split. Mega Inferno Ball comes across 3 people. In comes Icon with the dumbest trying to one-shot Wei, as in comes the Showstopper to try and deny him. Wei managing to get the smite off, and Icon is just being tag teamed right now in a 1v2 situation. Does get taken out. Xiaohu teleporting in relatively late and was not be able to get anything off of that. However, there's nothing he was doing up in the top side, I suppose. And RNG playing that exceptionally well. LNG, Icon trying his best to make the plays, trying to run interference, trying to one-shot Wei as fast as he could, but he really just isn't doing any damage right now. And if you look at the items between him and Crying is absolutely so much further ahead. He's now working on his 3rd item, excluding boots. Meanwhile, Icon is still struggling to finish his Starox by the looks of it. So really, Icon is not going to be... I don't even think he's going to be able to qualify as a tank come the later parts of this game, because by that point everyone else is going to be so much further ahead of him. He's got about the same amount of gold as the jungler, as Wei and Ming caught in a very, very tight choke point. In comes the Showstopper. In fact, Ale is knocked away by the Scatter the Weak, not even by the stun. Icon flashing into 5 people. Ming splashes out of the fight. Unfortunately, Gala is frontlining. In comes the Unleashed Power by Icon with the stopwatch this time. In comes the Scatter the Weak as Wei jumps into a 1v5 situation. God Drinker coming out is well the Crescent Strike, but Ale is stuck in there with him. Ming is staying around despite his low HP. In comes the Mega Inferno Bomb, taking out Ming, and a 3-for-0 exchange coming out as Icon growing wise, flashing into the team, just trying to run as much of interference as possible. But really, despite some nice plays coming out from Crying and the rest of RNG, Gala just caught terribly out of position yet again. Everyone is flashing away. Gala, for some reason, not able to flash or not opting to flash as Crying. Look at how hard he is chunked by just one Mega Inferno Bomb. Does manage to stun out a bunch of people, but Ale with teleport completed, jumping in with the Leap Strike and just leaving Icon to maybe try and get something. Realizing, however, that Icon probably won't be able to duel Xiaohu. Now, LNG are going to try and take this. Most likely, they will be able to secure this as the long range abilities of a Ziggs are not on the side of RNG. Gala does have quite a short range comparatively. And right now, things heavily in favor of LNG, and with the siege potential of having a Baron buff, having an extremely fed Jax, and having Ziggs. I mean, Wei jumping in onto Ale, but Ale is just absolutely furious. He's gonna destroy Wei before Ming can even round the corner, but he does bring Ale into Xiaohu, but the Spectral Maul coming in, every ability is being thrown onto Ale. Ale survives, leaves striking out and sidestepping away from the piercing arrow. Gala caught out of position yet again, flashing over the wall. Comes Tarzan to finish him up as Crying is being taken out. Light is being ignored. Tarzan taking up all the damage, even has the God Drink available, and now Icon's coming to the area wanting an assist, does get it. And Light just picks everything off. Ale looking like he's yawning in the bottom side of the screen. It is just too easy, as the man even has the awareness to sidestep that last piercing arrow, taking a 1v1 turn 1v4 situation in stride with only 2.5 items. I'm pretty sure RNG, there's no coming back into this, and the gold lead certainly reflects it at 7,000 gold advantage in the favor of LNG. Really, Wei is in a terrible position. Xiaohu is in a terrible position. Gala is in a terrible position, as 2 whole AP items have been completed. The third one is coming now. That is definitely going to be a Horizon focus. Meanwhile, Gala hasn't even stacked up his Muramana just yet. Is still building now towards what looks to be a Serpent's Fang, maybe. I'm not very sure. Maybe a Sorel does. As look at this beautiful pillar. And RNG is just so split here. Look at Ale try and jump in, but the Scatter the Weak comes in. Oh, it was targeted at him. I thought it was targeted down where his jungler and support was. As look at that beautiful Dragon's Rage. And Gala actually could have gotten a flash off here, but I suppose he didn't think he would have made it across the wall. Unfortunately, I would have liked to see him try though, and Wei just jumping in. Unfortunately, RNG are just so split in these fights. Meanwhile, LNG playing together exceptionally, and Ming trying to stay around to help his team does get nuked towards the end there, unfortunately, for his efforts. And now Ale building towards his wit's end. Soon Crying himself won't be able to 1v1 this Jax. And at this point, really, you must wonder, what do RNG need to do in order to come back into this game? There isn't even an Elder Dragon win condition. There isn't really a Dragon Soul win condition on the side of RNG, as in comes the Mega Inferno Bomb. Gala chunked to half HP with the Comet. And now Xiaohu is just really trying to look for something. Look at the damage coming in from that bouncing grenade. And things go from bad to worse. And as I mentioned, look at the push potential they have. Light is just gonna huck these big explosive devices from so far. Ale is now pushing in towards the top side. Crying is gonna try and stop him, but the rest of RNG are so split. I'm pretty sure Crying is in danger of getting dove, and Xiaohu is trying to get a kill onto Icon, who still hasn't reset his gold. So really, he's not even worth the effort you're putting in, as LNG are going to take out the rest of your mid lane base. In fact, top lane is gonna fall too, as Ale is just stepping forward with impunity. In comes Ming, and really all Ale needs to do is jump away. Meanwhile, Wei trying to 1v1 Tarzan. That is definitely not going in his advantage, as Tarzan practically actually completely solos him. Iwandi stepping forward. Xiaohu does have a teleport available, is looking to try and assassinate Light as best possible. Iwandi is there to tank him up. Exhaust goes down. Tarzan jumping instantly now, but Xiaohu trying to run away. Tarzan is in the area. In comes a very long range Sonic Strike. Ale jumping in as well. Crying is going to be taken out. Gala is going to be taken out by the combined efforts of Icon as well as Tarzan, while Ale just finishes off Ming, and the entirety of RNG falls. LNG not even breaking a sweat. Ale finishing off this game with a triple kill to reflect just how absolutely impactful he has been for his team. And this LNG roster are looking unstoppable. They're looking like they might slip here, they might stumble here and there against other teams like Suning, but when the push comes to a shove, LNG are looking absolutely destructive. And even, all things considered, this is even with Icon, despite being behind. You can't, I mean, I said he was sending it, I said he was feeding, it's true, if you look at the statistics, it's true. But the truth is, Icon is just able to just exert so much pressure onto the map, just allow Ale to just unlock himself. Beautiful plays coming out here by the members of LNG, and RNG need to think about something. They need to find a way to try and come back into this game. Otherwise, next game might be their last. But alas, that's a question for later on. Thank you guys so much for watching us in this 27-minute butchering of RNG, Ale, and the rest of LNG, absolutely beating down upon members of Royal Never Give Up as though there were no tomorrow. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow. See ya!